Hello, I'm Pastor Dave, and this is our Advent devotion for December 10th, 2021. 2 weeks to Christmas Eve. Gentle Mary laid her child lowly in a manger. He is still the undefiled, but no more the stranger. If you can think back to Monday, that verse sounds very familiar, because in many ways it's very close to the first verse. Now, repetition is not a bad thing when it comes to the faith. We can see this in the Bible where things get repeated time and time again. And it's there time and time again, not just to catch our attention, but the repetition means that it is important. It's one of those things like you say something 3 times so people will actually get the message. Now, we could think that Reverend Cook intended the same thing with this verse by pointing out that he was lowly in a manger, undefiled, but there's changes. While we have here that he is still undefiled, we get that he's no more a stranger. And that last line isn't interesting. The Messiah is no longer a stranger. This has something very interesting just in the placement. In the previous 2 verses, the birth of Christ has been announced to humanity by the choir of angels, the new star in the sky. We have the active searching for the Messiah, implying that we need to seek Christ, not just wait for Christ to come to us. But here in verse 3, the child is found. He had to have been found, because otherwise he would still be a stranger. Instead, here, Christ is known. And the other fact also means that God has been found. God has been made known to humanity. God's presence with humanity is realized. Normally, this is something that we can just gloss over. But it is important to remember, especially during this Advent season as we prepare ourselves for the coming of the Messiah, that God wants to be known to us. God does not want to be a stranger. God wants to be a part of our lives. This makes complete sense as God announced the arrival and helping people find Him. We have the signs, we have the messages, we have the tools. All we have to do is search for God until God is no longer a stranger, but instead is familiar to us. In many ways, this is why God sent Christ to earth. Because it is through Christ that God can become familiar to us all. And this really is what God wants. This is our Advent devotion for today. I hope to see you tomorrow.